All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Football, episode number 17 here. We did one a couple of weeks ago, but I want to do this. This was supposed to be earlier in the day. It's like 8 o'clock here in Florida, but I get a lot of it's the NFL offseason right now, and we're kind of in that at that stage where we're post free agency, but we're pre-draft. And now, this week starting Monday, I feel like the draft talk really started to ramp up. But it's just the dead point in the NFL offseason, and obviously the channel's not doing too good. People watching football stuff right now are pretty big into football, but most people start checking in around OTAs towards the end of late July, early August, getting ready for preseason football, and I'm doing all these film studies, and my face is in them. And every time I make a film study, somebody is like, "Oh my god, it's a face reveal." And it's like, I've been doing this for like 5 years. My face used to be the only thing you'd see on this channel, and then I started making NFL content, and not using my face, and I kind of preferred it, just kind of being relatively unknown, but can't really go grow a brand or a personal YouTube channel like that. So I want to start doing this. This is how I used to do it a lot of the times back in when I first started making this. We would do this on the Houston Rockets, but we're doing this obviously tailored towards football. We've done 16 iterations of this, so this is available on Spotify and Apple. The link is down below in the description of this video, and then an hour or two after this, once it's uploaded, I'll link it in the comments section. But there is no plan. There is zero itinerary. We have, I think, because I'm not making money on this. Like, I think I could just rip some film study. I think somebody could just like name a player. We could just literally rip some film. Um, and then, we could do some mock drafts. We could do some drafts. There's only two people in here, so that's kind of a huge issue because I prefer to riff and raff off of comments. So if anyone has any comments, go ahead, drop it in. But let's pull up a mock draft simulator on PFF. It's funny how much changes from even just like this time last year in college football to the first half season to the end of the season, and that even just the changes from the draft when college football ends in the national championship all the way up until draft day. It's crazy how much changes. So let's pull this up on the screen here. We got a mock draft simulator. We did this a couple of weeks ago at the end of the show, and I think it personally went pretty poor. I think Abdul Carter went like 8 or something, and we just made a colossal mistake. So I don't know if anyone else does these. They're really fun, especially for like specific teams. If anyone has a team, your favorite team or any team, and you want to throw them in a mock draft sim, we can rip one easily. But maybe let's do like our first 10, and then hopefully we have our first comments down below. But I really think Cam Ward's going number one. I don't really know why the Titans would not take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I'd totally take Shedeur Sanders as well. Any water in here? Damn. Mouth is too dry for this in. But I made a Titans video yesterday, just kind of off the dome, and I was just saying, like, so many people, non-Titans fans or Titans fans, so many of them are like, well, there's so many holes on the roster. There's so many things they need to fill on their team, like a quarterback. What's a quarterback going to do with a crappy offensive line? And we do this every single stupid year. Like, we do it every single year. And like, even that, when I said that out loud, the New England Patriots come to mind, where it's like people were saying, like, why would Drake May start? Why would the Drake May start? Should they even get a quarterback first off? But then I think it was assumed they were getting a quarterback. But anyways, let's just say everybody after the draft said Drake May should not start probably for this upcoming season because their offensive line is so bad, and that Drake May comes in halfway through the season with a bad offensive line, does this thing, and it's like, oh God, we got to get this guy an offensive line, because imagine him with one. So I said this on I know I'm ranting about the first pick in the draft and Cam Ward, but I said this in my video yesterday, like, go back. I have this probably somewhere in my notes. Go back literally to Jaden Daniels the year before his Heisman. So Jaden Daniels played, those 2 years at LSU and the first year at ASU. Obviously not the second overall pick, in his rookie season, but Jaden Daniels in his second to last year of college football threw like 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and LSU was kind of getting back to uh, LSU football. Jaden Daniels would have not gone number 1 or 2 in that draft. And the point I'm trying to make here that's kind of confusing and I'm rambling and ranting is people are saying Cam Ward would not be in the first round pick. I literally saw a quote from The Athletic last night before I made that video saying that Cam Ward would have not been the first pick this year's draft. Cam Ward probably, because 6 quarterbacks got taken in the first 12 picks, Cam Ward's probably wouldn't even be taken in the first round last year. And it's like, that's the point. That's the point of college football. You go back to Jaden Daniels right before he won the Heisman, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. It was impressive, but he's not the number 2 overall pick. So yes, Cam Ward 1 year ago was not the number 1 overall pick. Cam Ward to me is now the number 1 overall pick. All right, we got our first comment. Thank you, Jared. You're holding it down right now. Given Ashton Genty's reputation, I'd be willing to give up whatever it takes to acquire him, just given that our running back was number 1 offensive weakness last season. And so with that being said, imagine that. I'm going to assume you're a Las Vegas Raiders fan. I also feel like Ashton Genty has the potential to be the next Terrell Davis. So I think you're a Raiders fan, and I totally agree. I saw today how interested they're in the right tackle and out of Mizzou. And, the one thing that scares me is a brand new GM, a first-time GM taking a running back at the 6th overall pick. Like, we know Bijan Robinson and we know Jahmyr Gibbs. And, especially if you're a Lions fan, when David Montgomery was injured right before he came back in the playoffs, and then he comes back in the playoffs, they ran him way too much and he sucked. Jahmyr Gibbs is monumentally a better running back than David Montgomery. In a redraft, do people even have the balls to take Jahmyr at 6? How was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter how you cut it up, unless this is like a generational dude, a top 10 pick on a running back in today's era is, that's unprecedented. But I agree, man. I think Genty at 6 for Las Vegas is a phenomenal move. And we'll get to it in a second here. Now, for me, Cleveland Browns, I don't have sources, and you should not trust me for sources, but I feel confident that Shedeur Sanders will be the number 2 overall draft pick from the Cleveland Browns. But that is still, I don't think people really agree. And I think Travis Hunter is most people's pick now. But like I said a few minutes ago, man, this stuff changes on like a week-to-week basis. Sometimes it changes on a day-to-day basis. Let's do this one. Oh, not that one. Let's do this one. So we get the teams here. The New York Giants have a really interesting decision here. I've seen a lot of mocks where they're taking Mason Graham. I know they would like Mason, but you have the opportunity to go for Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. And I think Travis is perfectly like flashy, humble for the New York Giants brand. And, especially with Russ or Jameis, the quarterback, or, later round draft pick for the Giants next season, he needs way more than Malik Neighbors. He needs more than what's on the roster right now. And re-signing Darius Slayton was big. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston both called second round pick from 2 years ago, Jalen Hyatt, like untapped and a freak, or some other quote. So maybe there's still something there with Jalen Hyatt, but he was horrible last season. You're a Broncos fan. Okay. So then disregard every single thing I just said. I think there is a possibility that Genty's available at what are you guys though? You're like 22, or what are you? You're 20th. There's a world where that happens, but honestly, not a shot. And trade up, I think, is definitely in your arsenal. And I know, I know you guys are interested in that. What's up, TJ Black? How you doing? We're doing a mocker. If you want a Broncos mock draft, we can rip one. I'm not the best in 6th and 7th rounds, but yeah, we can make do. My point is, I think Travis Hunter's going to the New York Giants. Pick number 4 for the New England Patriots. I think Stephon Diggs means they're not going for T-Mac. I need to stop calling him T-Mac. Campbell's interesting, dude. Campbell's real interesting. I'm a little hesitant with his wingspan. And it's Mike Vrabel. And Abdul is available at the 4th pick. And I think There's no way they don't take Abdul if he's available. So I'm gonna go Abdul with 4. There, Jacksonville. Somebody just convinced me that Mason Graham is the pick, and I agree with them. And I need to make a Jags video and make that take known. 6 to the Raiders. I want them to take Ashton Genty. I actually don't think they'll take Ashton Genty. But then again, I don't know if this is PFF graded or if this is fans. Walter Nolan's really high up on this list. Just because the news dropped, I'm going to go with the tackle out of Mizzou. I think Sanders goes too, man. I really don't know why the Cleveland Browns would not take Shedeur Sanders with the second overall pick. You have to just assume Deshaun should be done, but you got to assume, man, you're starting from scratch. And yeah, I just kind of ranted about that a few minutes ago. Like, you hit on the quarterback, man, and every other problem you have is a future problem. It's can be fixed internally. We'll make it work. We'll throw a band-aid on it. Like, I know Adam Peters gets a lot of love right now for what he did to that team. D'Amico and the Houston Texans did the same thing 2 years ago, where they go out there and they're getting guys like Blake Cashman. Is a really good example for a Houston Texan guy that was not supposed to be that 2 years ago. You look at the Commanders' defense last season. A lot of these dudes they picked up, and you see it, a lot of new faces in Washington. A lot of those dudes they picked up. Minnesota had a same thing with guys like Pat Jones. You pick them up. These guys have phenomenal years. So the clock being restart possibly is worth no matter what other talent you can get. But you bring up a really good point. The Joe Flacco move could symbolize something. And, this Jalen Milroe kid and a lot of these, what was it? I think McCord was the one was it McCord who was getting ragged on Twitter today? I don't know if that clip was McCord. I can't remember if it was. I think it was him, but I'm not too sure. So I'll leave it there. But these quarterbacks, man, are interesting. All right, let me run through these because I feel like I'm dragging on. We got the New York Jets, who probably are going to be super pissed off at that selection. I'm going to go Tyler Warren. And I don't think the Jets will be taking Tyler Warren. So I guess why would I even do that? But T-Mac's also available for Justin Fields. They don't have a tight end, though. They're going to go out there and get Tyler Warren to me. Number 8 for the Carolina Panthers. We got T-Mac. We got Genty. We got Will Campbell. We got Barron. Ooh, that one's kind of tough. Panthers are in a really good spot, man. I really am enjoying making Carolina Panthers videos right now. But, man, do they really want a wide receiver? I don't think they really need a wide receiver in the first round here. Coker, Xavier, Adam. Do they do it? They could also easily take Tyler Warren if he's there. T-Mac falling this deep, though. One of these cornerbacks is going to be a stud in Carolina. Mike Jackson had a nice season. J.C. Horn's a stud. Can they figure that out in a later round? Taking way too much time to figure out what the Panthers should do. They also desperately need an edge. This is the only downside of these mocks on PFF is you got some studs back here. I mean, I'm sure there are some studs littered all the way back here that are going in the first round, but I saw a few. Panthers at 8, man. Oh, they made a lot of moves on the defense, but did they fix their edge rushing room? They just didn't, but they did enough. I'm going to go Barron. Oops. We're going Barron at 7. I'm only going to go to 10 here. Panthers need weapons, but they got an early second-round pick. Do they have 2 second-round picks as well? I think they might be eyeing a little bit deep. Some people had Barron late first. Some people had Barron at 6 to Las Vegas. The Saints at 9. Take a quarterback. Then you get into Shedeur, man. These kind of stress me out, to be honest with you. We'll just do 10. All right. I'm the New Orleans Saints. I could use quite a bit. And I think there's definitely going to be a curveball in this draft, and it might be Jackson Dart at 9, but more likely I'm wrong and Shador is not going to Cleveland, and the New Orleans Saints take him at pick number 9. And then our last one, Chicago Bears. Genty just fell on your lap, so Genty will be a Chicago Bear. But that's going to be it for that. That's just, I could literally do a 7-round mock draft right here for the next couple hours and spend 10 minutes on each. But, TJ, who are you a fan of? Maybe we rip a Broncos one. I did not go into this thinking I was going to be doing mocks. If anyone has any talking point, you should drop it. Let me get this visible on screen too. But I'm going to probably be doing these a little bit too often moving forward. And then hopefully by the time the season starts, we can just get into a nice little 2-a-week routine, 3-a-week routine. Let's do the first 4 rounds. Make sure you guys can see this. I assumed you're a Steelers fan. What do you think about Shador going there? Or even Rodgers? All right, we got the Denver Broncos. Pick number 20. Let's see how they went. They went, oh my God, they had Ashton Genty going 2 overall to Cleveland. Oh my gosh, dude. This is an insane draft. No quarterback has been taken, and we're 7 picks in. Baron Campbell at 9. No quarterback has been taken in the first 10 picks. Mike Green, Walter Nolan. No quarterback has been taken in the NFL draft. All right, Jared. Genty's gone at 2. And every quarterback is available on the board. All right, there you go. TJ, do you want Shador or Cam? You have your pick. I'm going to go with Emeka Egbuka out of the Ohio State University for the Denver Broncos. That is a fascinating draft. And I've got to scroll up to see what happened after that. Cam Ward to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ooh, my Packers get Hampton, which is a fascinating draft pick. There's only one quarterback taken in the first round. And there we go. Shador Sanders. All right. Somebody tag a Browns fan. I should clip this for my one Browns fan that I know. You pick Genty at 2 and then Shador at 33. All right. Let's see. This is a fascinating draft. All right. Jackson Dart back up to Bo Nix. All right, we got Denver here. I'm going to just refresh. I haven't made a Broncos video in I think around a week. Offense isn't a huge pressing need for me, but a running back and a wide receiver will be taken at some point. Defensively, man, I really don't need much, and I'm not familiar enough with the team's depth on the defense outside of the obvious is John Ellis, rookie season. Strnad was a freaking beast. Tillman, Malcolm Roach, Chris, PJ Locke. Let's go offense here again. Wait, what's up, Stephen Kong? How you doing, man? All right. We're seeing who they're taking at pick number 51. I think that this is a really nice draft pick for the Denver Broncos with an offensive focus. I'm going to go Cam here. Why not? We got round 385. Kyle Williams is available. Oh yeah, let's check out the center. Huh. Okay. 3rd round pick. No more Lloyd Cushenberry, but all right. I'm just looking at this. I need to be way more well-versed with centers. I'd go obvious. I'm going to go Kyle Williams. And then I'm going to end that there. But the Broncos are in a phenomenal spot. They spent the most money in free agency for, I think, on defense or maybe just in general of every team that made the playoffs. Cam Ward was good. Sorry, Steven, you're catching it at a bad time, but we'll be back soon. Take this in or out. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Football episode number 17. We're bringing this back. Bad showing here today. You can listen to this on Apple and Spotify. The link's down below. And thank you for everyone tuning in live and post live. And we'll be back here hopefully by the end of the week. Peace.